Welcome to Grade 12 Winter School. In this video, I will focus on trigonometry. The trigonometry section is structured into three parts, with this question's focus on trig graphs. The key points to remember include understanding the shape, the period, the amplitude, and phase shifts of these graphs. Usually trig equations, more specifically finding the general solution, is also incorporated into this question. This question counts 5.3% of the total. Now this is the question and we will dissect it now. I just want to show you something. Since this question counts 8 marks, I don't want you to spend more than 8 minutes on answering this question. This is usually the guide on how much time you should spend on a question. But let's discuss this one anyway. The graphs of f of x is minus half cos x and g of x is sin x plus 30 for the interval x is 0 up to 180 are drawn below. A 130,9 and 0,33 is the approximate point of intersection of the two graphs. 5.1, write down the period of G. So you find the period by looking at X and no adjustment was made to X. Therefore, the period of G is just 360 degrees for 1 mark. 5.2, write down the amplitude of F. You go to F, amplitude you find in front of the graph there, in front of the equation rather, and then it's minus a half, but amplitude is distance and distance is positive, therefore the amplitude of F is positive a half. 5.3, determine the value of F 180 degrees minus G 180 degrees. So there's your F graph minus your G graph, and in X's place you're going to substitute 180 degrees, and then with your calculator you find the first bit there, the answer is a half minus a half, which is 1, and the answer with 1 mark. 5.4. Use the graphs to determine the values of x in the interval x is an element 0 up to 180, for which at number 1, fx minus 10 is equal to gx minus 10. So this equals means it's the place of intersection of the two graphs, and the x value there is 130,9. And then this x minus 10 means it's the same as if you would say x minus 10 is 0, x is equal to 10, positive 10. So you take this 130 degrees and you add 10. Therefore your answer x is 140,9 degrees. The next sum, number 2, what you do is you're going to take that root 3 sin x plus cos x bigger equal than 1, and you're going to multiply right through by a half. And then there's a help sketch that looks like this. This is the triangle 60, 30, 1, 2, root 3. And then root 3 over 2 is the same as cos 30. You go to cos's ratio is adjacent over hypotenuse. That is why cos 30 is root 3 over 2. And then a half is the same as sin 30. Sin is opposite over hypotenuse, which is a half, sin 30. Then you must be able to recognize this sin x cos 30 plus cos x sin 30. Sin alpha cos beta plus cos alpha sin beta. That is the same as sin alpha plus beta. So on our sum, that's the compound angle for sin. On our sum, this thing can be written as sin x plus 30 degrees bigger equal than half. Then you're going to deal with that thing as if it's an equation. And then what you do is you say sin a half, it's actually second function sin a half, and then you work out a reference angle which is equal to 30 degrees. And then you're going to say, where is sin positive because of this half over there? And then the cast diagram, sin is positive in the first quadrant, that's where the A is. So you say x plus 30 equals the reference angle, which is 30, and then if you take the 30 across, it becomes negative 30, which is 0. So x is 0, and then in the second quadrant, because sin is positive in the second quadrant, it's x plus 30 is 180 minus the reference angle, and you get x is equal to 120. And then just to conclude, your answer will lie between x is an element 0 up to 120, or you can write it as x is smaller than 120, x is greater or equal than 0. And then where's your marks for multiplying by a half right through? Then this cos 30 sin 30, and then where you use the compound angle, and then for your final answer.
The next video is also on trigonometry. Click on the video in the left-hand corner to take you straight to that lesson.